Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. I just need to change one thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. It's been a month. The monthly streams, it's like too far in between. Mic is a bit woofy. I don't know. Didn't change any settings. I didn't change any settings. I checked preamp. Preamp's in the right spot. Okay. I assume that'll be okay. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Maybe it's just the difference in the music volume versus me. All right, so yeah, I mean, what's happened in the past month? There was the Reaper update video, the 6.712 video, which, you know, I threw together in an afternoon, doing the same old with that. Nothing super interesting. It's not a good video. I think I even said that last stream, but it ended up getting like almost 40K views for no reason, really. I don't know. More interesting videos I've done have gotten a lot less views. And so that's a little frustrating, I guess. Joe, we'll get to your question in a bit. What else happened? The Fallout TV show is super good. I really enjoyed that. It exceeded my expectations a lot. And I'm very excited for season 2. And I wish I had people to talk to about that. If you have Amazon Prime, please check out the Fallout show. It's very good. And also, if you have Amazon Prime, you get Fallout 76 for free right now as well. So, I don't know, worth adding it to your account at least. And Fallout 4 just got an update yesterday. It broke most of the mods, so my save is a bit messed up. But of the new things that I have looked at, I did enjoy the missions that I've done so far. I did, I think, 3 missions yesterday. Enclave stuff is pretty cool. Really interesting new weapons. So yeah, so that was my yesterday. I did that yesterday afternoon. I updated Fallout 4 on the PS5, and then I realized, oh, I updated the PS4 version on the PS5. I need to uninstall that and install the new one. So like that delayed me by like 2 hours. But yeah, I don't know. I've got like 1,100 hours in Fallout 4. So, you know, I kind of like the game. Like New Vegas is like everyone's favorite, but like it was constantly crashing on PS3. And that wasn't fun. But I did complete that game twice. What else? What else is going on? I didn't get very much new gear recently. One thing I did get, a thrift store find actually. AT M35s. So these are gonna be my field recording headphones. Something I don't like is this crackling sound. That's pretty annoying, right? And you can definitely hear it on your ears. So, I don't know if there's a fix for that. Let me know if you know how to make plastic not creak like that. Maybe it's just a bit of gaffer tape or something. We'll fix that. I don't know. Something I had during the last stream, but I didn't show it, was this 7-string. I know I don't need any more guitars, but this was This was a very inexpensive purchase. It was $160 Canadian, and I really like it. It doesn't really feel like a 7-string. It feels just barely wider than my other guitars. So it's a Jackson CWJ2278442, unless that's the serial number. I don't know. It's a very basic 7-string from Jackson with passive pickups, but it was like very good condition and very inexpensive. It was another one of those things that I didn't plan on buying, and my wife bought it. She put it on my guitar rack. Actually, no, not even on the guitar rack, just like sitting on my amp. And it sat there for like over 24 hours before I noticed it. So, I don't know. Yeah, now I've got 2 Jacksons and I like them. The green one is, I definitely like more, but yeah, that 7-string, I played it for like a week straight. It was like the only guitar I touched for like a week. I really like it. I don't know if I showed this. Also got this old Tube Screamer, and it sounds exactly like my other Tube Screamer. Which means it sounds exactly like every Tube Screamer plugin. And I don't want to, you know, they'll have like $200-300 Tube Screamers, and they all sound the same. They all do the Tube Screamer thing. You should have at least one. But I mean, now at least I can do like stereo or something. But that old one, that it's plastic case, it's got a terrible foot switch that just like works 1 out of 10 times, and the silver one's like 1 out of 5 times it will work. It's, I don't know. They need to be resoldered, but I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I think that's it for like gear and stuff here. Yeah, we did the VCR last month, or maybe it was the month before. I think it was last month. I did my taxes, and that was like kind of taking up all of my mental capacity for like over a week, almost 2 weeks. I didn't make any music. I barely played guitar. I basically just like worked on the taxes stuff, watched YouTube videos, and tried to forget about doing the tax stuff. I just wasn't really that interested in making videos, so I didn't make videos because you guys don't want to see videos where the person's not interested. Okay, so okay, just starting up this soundtrack again. All right, so let's do some Q&A. The first question I saw was from Joe Clar Music. Do you do any processing on the SM7 for these streams? I do, and so I'll show you what that looks like in this software here. This software is called Caster from Ginger Audio. It has a machine learning noise reduction and a sort of a radio processor, I guess. Expander, compressor, yeah, just I have them on. I guess the EQ was off, but now it's on. I mean, it doesn't change a lot. Let me mute the music. So music's off, so here's the mic on its own, and here it is with the noise reduction. And here it is with the voice radio plugin. Yeah, so I mean, it makes it a little bit better, a little more consistent, but nothing too crazy. I still want it to sound like me, and I still, you know, in doing the videos, I still might do some noise reduction and compression and limiting, EQ, things like that. But this just kind of gets me a better starting point. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm sure it does. Question from Alexander. I got rendering to MP3. Since I record in 24-bit, do I first need to render to 16-bit wave with dithering and then render to MP3? You probably should, honestly. Yeah, you probably should. I think internally it might do that. But yeah, that would be like the technically correct thing to do. Render to 16-bit wave, 44.1, and then use the batch converter to make an MP3. That's how we always used to have to do it. But it might not make any difference. You know, it doesn't take that long to render twice or to try it both ways. Just see, you know, see if it actually does make a difference. Is there a way to turn a search in Media Explorer into a database? I feel like I once did a video on that. There, like, trying to think of if I've done this. So let's go to this. I don't know. Let's just search for ocean. And so all of these are ocean things. So if I right click and make a new database, DB ocean. Okay. And then I go back one. Nope. Okay. So here's all the ocean ones, and then you can drag that into the database. So you kind of need to make the database first, but there isn't like a new database from selection or anything like that. Close enough. I think I may have requested that function once before. But yeah. Hello, LFR Studios. And yeah, hello everyone that's here today. Jason, Will, Danny, Joe, Steven. How do you say that name? It looks a bit like Simon, but it's, yeah. Semyon. Hello. Transophonic. Yeah, and everyone else here. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, would you mind giving the video a like just so that people wandering by might have a better chance of finding it? Okay. In terms of other things to talk about today, just keep the questions coming. But I do have a few things worth mentioning, I think. Two weeks ago, there was a Reaper scripter created a new, basically a free course on programming, extension scripts, JSFX, themes, and all this stuff. What are ReaScripts? And thought I had the playlist here. I don't have the playlist.
Hi, I am Daniel Lumertz.
Okay. There's 19 videos in this series. Click through to playlists. I'll copy this playlist link and send that to you guys. So if you are interested in learning ReaScript, there have been ReaScript courses or free workshops over the years, but this is the most recent one. This is 2 weeks old. Lots of good stuff in there. Smash the like button. Is it worth upgrading from Reaper 6 to 7? I think so. I think there's lots of good stuff in Reaper 7 that are worth getting. But I mean, if you never used all of the features in Reaper 6, then who knows? I don't know. I mean, it's worth just demo it. See if you are interested in the new features. I've kind of forgotten what all the new features are because we've had Reaper 7 for so long now. New theme. There's a couple new buttons in the main toolbar. There's the track spacers. There's the new comping mode. I think that's probably the most worthwhile option. But again, you don't have to use it if you're comfortable with comping the older way. What else? There were no new plugins, and I think that was something that people were a bit disappointed with. What's another Reaper 7 feature that I missed? So the track spacer thing, you could have a divider like between different tracks instead of using folders just for organization like that. You just have a space. People were using what do you call it? Like empty tracks that are just like black, and you could accidentally drag items to that, and yeah, that's no good. So track spacers is the ideal workaround for things like that when you want a visual space in between. And there is you can actually adjust the height of them. Why can't I click on that? Visual track spacer size you can set to like, I think 30 pixels is the highest or something like that. Six won't support clap. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't really remember. Envelope window. Oh yeah, the envelope window is a recent change. This like more of a list view is much nicer than the old chaotic way of doing stuff. So I'll just add some effects to there, and then if I left click, it automatically starts with them collapsed. So you're not seeing all of these parameters at once, and you can just easily drag through here to enable, disable, and disarm all, hide all, show all. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't use it a ton, but it's definitely an improvement over the old way. I think I've only seen one person ask for the old way back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Clap was released pretty early on in the Clap development, so probably a year ago. The question from LFR, I actually don't know how things work in Cubase. I don't know what double alignment means. But if you've already searched for scripts, I'm probably not going to be able to help you with that. But if you can break down all the steps that need to occur and you know, give people the before and then the intended after result. Sometimes, with scripting especially, sometimes it doesn't work linearly. It's not a step-by-step process. Sometimes it's, especially when there's multiple items, sometimes it's not a step-by-step process. Sometimes it's sort of, yeah, non-linear. But you need to know before and after, and then you might have a plan of how those steps are carried out, but there might be another way of doing it. MPL align takes, that's one I've never used. Do I have any experience with the Live configuration by Lexa Productions? No, I don't actually. The forum is the best place for support for that. I would think so. I'd have to look up what that is. I haven't used that one for sure. Video question. I have a 10-core CPU, but I find video rendering to be painfully slow. Any tips? I'm doing FFmpeg, Qt, MOV, MP4 format with H.264. You can do FFmpeg. You can try using the other one. On Windows, it's called WMF, I think, and that can also do H.264. I think most people are using that one, but yeah, it can be slow for sure, and it is CPU rendering only. And I guess the only other thing you can do is like render it as audio first. I think WMF or Windows Media Foundation is the other decoder that can do H.264. But if you can render your project as to a WAV file and then render your video, that may be faster. And all you need to do is sort of attach that WAV file, so you're not doing tons of MIDI or audio effects in there. But I don't know for sure. I think it might be situation dependent. I yesterday recorded a video on Unfiltered Audio's Battalion, but I didn't get into editing it. And the more time I procrastinate on that, I think I'm probably going to re-record it. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. It's not really the video that I kind of wanted to make. I think there's some good parts, but ultimately my my demo kind of sounds weren't good. And so that makes me pause and think I can do better. So I would like to get a video out on that this week, because that's a new plugin, and there's a bit of hype around that. We'll probably play with it a little bit today, but probably won't, properly record a video during the stream. McSequencer got an update. Actually, I update my repack right now. Is there a way of moving MIDI items without envelope automation? So yeah, so same as audio, there's a button in the main toolbar. I'll show you that in one sec. So in your main toolbar, you should have a button that looks something like this, with an envelope and like a chain link. The buttons are going to be in a different order on yours, but that's what that controls. So if we've got a MIDI item here, and let's automate the volume a little bit. Let's turn snap off. All right, so when that's on and you're moving it around, it moves the envelopes with it, right? Because these envelopes belong to this media. But if you want that to stay there, you just left click on that button and then this item moves independently. So same with audio. Yeah, if it was something like moving the notes without moving the MIDI CCs, that would be a little more complicated. And I guess how I would approach that is to make the item longer at the beginning and end so that you could go in, move the notes selection separate from the MIDI CCs. MIDI CCs won't automatically move other than like velocity. Keep the questions coming. Yeah, so 7 string, and this is tuned down to like A. Which is pretty brutal. I'm using the Amplitude 5150 model. You gotta like that, like, dissonant sort of sound. Yeah, I don't have any like songs to play, but I like it. I think it Sounds pretty good. Another thing I'm curious about is that the UI isn't as smooth as in other DAWs. I have a 144 hertz monitor. Sometimes everything feels like it's running at 30 FPS. I mean, I think it probably does run at something like 30 FPS. Reaper doesn't use any like GPU acceleration for things. So, and then, yeah, some plugins will really slow it down. There's various things that affect that. Let me check here. Let's see if I can find it off the top of my head. Something that affects sort of like the UI speed. So there's the meter update frequency. That's 30 hertz. And there was something else. In advanced UI system tweaks, there might be something here that would help. Throttle mouse events is something that I find makes a big difference. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a 144 hertz monitor. I've got a 60 FPS. Yeah, and I'm totally okay with 30. There's some other function that I'm thinking of, but I can't figure out where it is. I don't know even what it would be called. Yeah, I don't know. There's something like an update frequency or something like that. I forget what it's called exactly. The throttle mouse events, it might be a Mac function. Yeah, there's a preview of recording items, but there's something like there's the thread priority. Maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. Oh, a couple at the last stream, people were asking me like an alternative to Serum. And there was obviously like Phase Plant and Vital, and there was one that I couldn't think of, and it's called God damn it, what was it called? Sektor. Sektor is a synth that I've had for a long time, and I actually didn't even install it on my last two systems. Come on. And I don't have the serial number on me at the moment, but Yeah, so this is something, it's a wavetable synth similar to Serum. It's like $29. It's not always $29, but yeah. Probably worth a look if you're looking for some alternative to X for Serum that everyone uses. So this is the sort of preset selection. I don't have any of my synths turned on. Two oscillators, a sample player, and sequencer effects, voice thing, wavetable position is something you can control. I don't know how it works. So browser, let's go to aliens. Terrible. Okay, so wavetable loading is here. Why can't I click this? Increase voices. Okay, 16 voices. Oh, and then because it's a sequence, I have to turn that off. Yeah, I was talking to someone from Dawson. I just am overwhelmed with the number of things I need to review and the things that I own that I don't have time to play with and things like that. So I'm only looking at this because it came up in conversation a month ago. It took me 30 days to remember the name of it. Yeah, and because I already own it. That's all. And like to me, this is doing all the things that Serum and Vital and things like that do. Davi, have you used this one before? Different skins. Rainbow mode. That's gross. I think there's some good sounds in here in the factory library. And, you know, it gives you all the controls for, you know, tweaking everything. I didn't really realize that I was zoomed in here on this interface, but luckily most of that did not get cut off. So you could learn this. You could get as good at this as Serum. It doesn't have as many expansions. It doesn't have as many preset packs that, you know, every producer is selling. But, you know, if you don't want what everyone else is using, here's an option. I guess that's my whole point. I didn't want to spend like 200 on Serum at the time, so I saw that for like 15 at the time. So I got that. And Kilohertz sent me Phase Plant, so I'll use that occasionally. It's so much fun for like sound design. What the game audio sound designers are using this for is crazy, like dynamic engine sounds. Super cool. Yeah, let's do some Battalion. I would like to do something with Battalion. Let's just do like a quick jam with it, maybe. Unless you would prefer that I explain what I'm doing with it. What do you prefer? Just let me play around with it, or do you want a tutorial? You guys know about this? Have you seen it? Jam with it? All right, so let's start off with the kick pattern. That's the kick sound, so we'll just start off with yeah, 4 on the floor, and yeah, so kick. Let's just do fill every 8 steps in different pattern. All right, and let's tweak this a little bit. So if I want a different kick sound, all right, so I definitely don't like the hi-hat sound. I'm going to change this to a different mode. The one I think I like more for hi-hat is Haywire, I think. But no, that's more of a, that's not the one. I think there's another one, but I forget what it's called. Yeah, I think I just want more of a, something like that. Let's actually use a high pass filter. Turn it down, add some variation. So the variation control just dynamically, like per hit, adds a little shift to everything. And if you don't want that shift, you can right click on any of the knobs and then those won't move. All right, so snare sound. let's set this one to the haywire. All right, so sequencer, we're gonna just do distort it a bit. All right, so this one, probably clap sound. Don't love it. The decay is way too long. Actually, let's just go 100% with a sample. So let's go to where it says no sample loaded. We'll load a factory sample, clap, try the first one. I do wish you could click on here to play it, but that moves the start time. No. No. Wait. Oh, I hit random accidentally. I don't want to do that. Okay. That's fine. So again, let's do this one. Let's do every other, but adjust the probability, which is this one. So yeah. So this is roughly every other time if it's at minus 50. And I can change this length to like 32. And then, I don't know, put in a fill here. I don't know. All right, so that sound. Okay, let's go over the sequence. Let's just fill this in with something. Okay, and we'll just tweak that sound. Kind of weird. Let's do a percussion sound here. So we can blend more of the sampler or less. Let's add some delay to this. And adjust that delay here. All right, a lot of that's getting into my mic, so switching to headphones. All right. All right, so just to explain this page, the perform page gives you access to all of the different controls from each voice page, but at once, and you can flip them, you can enable them or disable them, you can lock certain things, and you can kind of create variations. So if we're playing here, we can adjust the decay of every sample or every synth at the same time. And this is a trim for whatever the position was before. We can subtract 40%. Okay, so there's only one pattern, and it's generative, so it kind of changes every time, but it's always one pattern. You can't like make a verse, a chorus, a bridge with Battalion at this time. And I think that's kind of the biggest downside. But if you look at a lot of different drum machines, they don't really have that ability either. So not all of them, like especially the old ones, don't have the ability of saving different patterns and morphing between them. They definitely don't have anything like this global performance mode. Yeah, the variation, the voice variation controls, things like that. So in a lot of ways, this is extremely deep. This is a very deep iceberg, but it's a little bit narrow. You can you can swim around it, but like in terms of making a song with it, you kind of have to make. I think you just have to make loops with it. What do you think? I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Like the past, I don't know, 5 minutes of that. I think this is a dream for sound designers. Just all the things you can do, all the different synth engines, right? All the things you can do with sampling in here. I didn't touch the modulation. I didn't touch the LFOs in here. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I wish there was a drag and drop pattern save function. That's kind of the only thing that I really wish for. The MIDI out doesn't work. So if you like click here and go to MIDI output, it doesn't pass through MIDI output to the next plugin. So you can't just use this as a generative sequencer. In a way, this is, oh yeah, there's also this view which shows you the sequence and gives you voice controls, which is pretty cool. If you think of this as the drum section of a modular synthesizer, I think you can do a ton. I think if you approach it in that way, there's a lot you can do. But if you are specifically looking for like an 808, 707 style drum machine, or, you know, addictive drums or superior drummer, that sort of thing, I don't think the, like Easy Drummer has like the drag and drop patterns and things like that. It's got a whole pattern library. It does different things than this. Of course, you can just trigger it from MIDI, but I think you miss out on all the cool stuff that the sequencer can do. I said all this stuff in my video that I'm deleting, but yeah, I think there's a lot of fun stuff. On the Discord, I asked about MIDI, and they said that's probably going to happen. I did find a bug here with the voices. See how the movement with the delay knob, I got to go like all the way up to the decay knob to get it to +10. And with the reverb, I barely get to the top of the reverb control. So they said internally, the delay is a horizontal knob. That's probably like, you know, long. But the reverb, it's only as long as this box. So it's supposed to work the same as the delay. They're fixing that for the next update. Question. Okay, so I'm going back to questions. I think Luca, I think you were next. Been mixing my album in Reaper with all of the songs in the same project. I now want to have separate projects for each song. Can I do this with subprojects? I think technically you can do that with subprojects. It may not be the best way to do it. Let me show you what I'm thinking. Let's do a sort of a a mock version of multiple projects. Something like this. Let's say there's 3 projects in here. These MIDI items are, we'll call them projects. So let's say project 2, you want to split off to its own project. So we would do, let's say we've got regions around them. I don't think it matters, but we'll do regions. So let's say we save this project. Let's just save it. Demo master project. Right, so I've saved this project, so we're at the spot where you have your project with multiple songs. Now, let's make this into a project with only one song in it, just this item here. So we're gonna make a time selection, remove, actually no, we'll do this other one. I'll make a selection around a region, crop project to selection. Now, we don't hit save, we hit save as. And just call this like song 2. Okay. And then we press undo twice. And we go to this other one, right click, crop project to selection, file, save project as, song 3. And so we can even open these projects in tabs. New project tab, recent projects, song 3. So this one here, we'll just undo a couple times to get back to the master one. Or actually, recent projects, we'll go back to master project. And let's do recent projects and song 2. Hold shift to open in a new tab. There we go. So what project with songs 1, 2, 3? Can you drag and drop? Huh, I thought you could. Doesn't matter. Hopefully that explains it. Like that's the simplest way that I know of to do that. If you don't crop the project, the other way is to just, just simply delete everything there. Everything you don't need, and then you resave it. So, save as. Have I stopped doing what's new? There just wasn't any big changes. The last 3 updates have just been bug fixes. Little things like being able to scroll in certain lists was something in the plugin effects list. That was something that they fixed. Nothing major. I think overall there's they're good updates, but there's no one specific feature to feature. Yeah. So if there's a new feature, a thing to do, I will cover it in a video. But if it's just these things got fixed, there's not always a reason to do a whole video on that. Yeah, Luca, you can do subprojects. You can do subprojects. Subprojects can do items or tracks. So let me think. Yeah, okay, so after you so, Let's reload this master project. Okay, so after you render out or split out off your song 2, you would bring it in from your audio thing, song2.rpp, and you drop that in as a media item.
Amazeballs.
So now that's a subproject. You can double click it, and yeah, it brings you to that project. So that's the only way of doing like a whole project, multiple items and things like that. Yeah, just import the project as an item. Yeah, often we think of the subproject thing as something you do from right-clicking an item. Where is it? I think it's in here somewhere. Yeah, move items to new subproject. You can do that. But you can also drag and drop in a project file to create. It'll render and it will replace the media file in here. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to really say about that, but should work. Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay. Keep the questions coming, guys. Oh yeah, McSequencer update. That's what it was that I wanted to do. So let's make a track. Let's search for McSequencer. All right. So we talked about McSequencer at like version 0.5 or something like that. And it's been completely rebuilt since then. So let's go to the sample library, and let's bring in snare drum. Okay, and we can drop it onto the sequencer. It's going to set up this track here with note trigger, swing, and resample-matic. So we can sequence this. Oh, not on 1. So okay, so this is a 32-step sequence. We'll just bring that down to 16. All right. Okay, and I'll just control that. Yeah, track volume is this knob here. I was controlling it from my control surface. You can see that moving as I do that. Let's loop that. Just drag and drop a kick drum into the sequencer. Okay, so recently what has been added was these functions here. So below there's a velocity. And pitch and offset. So offset can make a note late or early. Which I've never really been a fan of the swing thing, but sometimes you need it. So this pitch control changes the MIDI note out, but Resamplematic doesn't. It doesn't automatically scale the pitch. So we click this button, we can come here, we can go to sample mode, semitone shifted. And now when this plays back, it might actually be in the wrong pitch because, yeah, it started off at the wrong pitch. I forget how to fix it. I think setting it to -64 fixes it. No. Whatever, you can make it work. But now these controls work. See you later, Jason. Okay, so I don't really want to adjust my pitch with that, so I will fix this back to what it was before. You don't often tweak your drum synths or your drums like that, but let's set up a track for a MIDI loop. So let's go to, where is it? Kontakt plugins, we'll go to reinsert and MIDI to synth rack, I think is the correct one. MIDI, shit, I don't remember which one. I think my X touch goes out. Okay, so I got this track selected. This will be my synth. And then I'm going to click the plus button in McSequencer. That brings that in. And then I can do 16th note sequence, do pitch, and then yeah, we can send an E as the first note, and then a G, something like that. And I'm not 100% sure if that's going to come through. No, because it's not plugged in. If you want to know what I'm doing over here, that's Poly D. fair amount of latency here, but why? Ping detect's not gonna work, is it? No. Okay. Well, anyways, we can send notes from the sequencer out to the synth and back. And it didn't send. Where is that? Oh, Poly D. That's what she said. I must have missed it. I was going to say, we can change the octave globally, but I don't think we can. Oh well. So let's go to pattern 2. No. New pattern. There we go. New pattern. Let's loop. Oh, loop that. And let's kick drum that. Let's do. That's the snare. Let's just cut off the. Here's my kick drum. Oh, that's why. I actually don't think this synth really responds to velocity because it's an analog synth. Cool. So yeah, you can use this to create sequences. It's much better since we last looked at it on the blog, and yeah. So this is a free thing in Repack from MacArthur. All right, so that's it for that. I did have some other scripts to talk about. I still haven't tested them. So we're going to skip that again. This reinsert's adding so much latency. It's unplayable, but that's fine. Any other questions? How can I set different inputs and outputs in the audio device preferences? There should be an option like right there on Mac. There is an option. I forget on Windows. It depends on the driver mode. For ACO, you can't. With ACO for all, you can. And on Mac, you're supposed to use an aggregate device. But there's this checkbox here. Oops, let's zoom in. There's this checkbox here. Allow use of different input and output devices. Not recommended. But if you do, you just choose. So it's output to audio fuse and input from WebXLR. But yeah, you're not supposed to use that. You're supposed to use aggregate device. And so on Mac, for making an aggregate device, you go to audio MIDI setup. And you make sure that window is set to audio devices. You click this plus button. That'll get you this thing. And in here, there's a list of all your audio devices on the system. And you just check the ones that you want available. It will give you all of the inputs and all the outputs together. And they go in order. So if I want to go to loopback, Reaper to OBS audio device, I need to send from channel 15, 16, because the first 14 are the physical outputs on the audio fuse. But that's essentially it. So if you have like a USB mic plus your computer speakers, you would set up a aggregate device. And on Windows, there's similar things for this. But yeah, you're not going to get super low latency with that. And on your master track in Reaper, you've got this send here. And if you want to send to somewhere else, would send to add new hardware output, and you would send to your computer speakers or whatever it is. Just add a send to, let's say, Q2 left, right. Hopefully that explains it. I'm pretty sure that ACO for all can set that up on Windows. More questions, please. How can I get famous and earn a ton of money? Well, I don't have any idea. Getting famous isn't one of my goals, so I've never pursued that. And earning money, I definitely don't know. It's not YouTube. It's not being self-employed and making videos for free. That's not it. Any interesting new plugin releases that you guys have noticed recently? Rigid Audio made a Kontakt UI maker. That was something, it was probably about a month ago. I don't know if we talked about that. But, you know, if you want to build things for Kontakt and you want to have a nice fancy UI, this is probably the thing to use. Yeah, I was just going through the KVR audio list here as we're chatting. Myth for Dawson, yeah, I can get a code for that easily. I was talking to someone last week, but yeah, I'm not in a rush to check that one out. It seems cool, very like sound designy kind of synth. Oh, what the hell is the word? Tonex. That got an update, and there's a new pedal that lets you load Tonex presets into it. Up to 2 of them. You can A/B with it. It's Tonex 1, I think it's called. X1. This is pretty cool. So, I actually don't know if you can... I don't know if you can actually capture using this, or if you need your regular audio interface, but it'll allow you to play through your captured tones and your anything on the ToneNet website. It's TRS in and out, so you know, stereo in out, which is pretty cool. Plug in headphones for a portable rig. It's got a built-in reverb, but doesn't have any time-based effects like delays, and no modulation. So you can do a lot with it: compression, saturation effects, distortions, things like that. I guess it's pretty. I was gonna say it's pretty inexpensive. It is $179.99 list price. Who knows what it's actually gonna be in stores, but pretty neat. Pretty neat stuff. The Tonex stuff sounds good. I have a question: how to make arpeggios in Reaper with Control A like FL? Is it possible to turn any chord into an arp? There is a sort of a extension. So when you right click, you can insert arpeggios. And it follows the grid length. I forget who made that. There is definitely a link on my website for that. And then for the created, so if we insert a chord, dominant 7th, and then arpeggiate this. I don't see a arpeggiate. I've been looking for like a strum thing. That didn't work. Yeah. I would say probably not exactly as you're looking for, but you can, I mean, you can kind of do this. If there is something for that, I actually don't know what it would be called. It might be like spread. No, I don't know. I do use this insert arpeggio function a fair amount. But these are actually just like a custom action. So it's not too complicated. Hey, Random Joy, welcome. I think we're gonna stop fairly soon. Tom White, you're talking about Tonex, I think. Yeah, I think it's a cool pedal. Can I link a mixer without USB? Link a mixer. Probably not. If the mixer is also a USB audio interface, you'll get the most out of it from using it with a USB connection. But if you have an existing audio interface and then you want to add to it with analog cables, you can do that. That's how I have my mixer set up. Show you that here. No, you can't actually see it. But I've got this little Behringer mixer over here for my synth rack. All this stuff goes into there. 2 outputs go to stereo input of my audio interface. Yeah, I'm sure there's an ARP script. If I had to put money on it, I would guess that Julian Sater has tools for arpeggiating things. He's got a ton of really good MIDI scripts that I don't use at all. But yeah, just searching here today, I'm not finding a script for that. Some themes I noticed volume meter of a track is way too large. Is there a way to fix the width of the meters? The most common problem with the meters is if you do something like a multi-channel drum program and you set it to output on all channels, you might end up with this track here with the default setting of multi-channel peaks. No, it's not that. Well, it is that, but it's also not that. I need to go into the theme tweaker. No, not theme tweaker. It's called meter expansion, but it's theme adjuster. So some of the themes have this enabled by default, so it's so it might look something like that. Right, so if I have this as a 2-channel track, it's narrow, but as you add in like sidechain channels, as you add in like multiple sidechain channels, or it's a multi-channel drum track, it can get pretty big. But yeah, this is a function of the of the theme adjuster. And let's go over to Reaper 6 theme. Reaper 6 theme. The meter expansion function. I thought that was in one of these things. Maybe not. So Reaper 6 theme adjuster on the mixer page. There's this do meter expansion. What's that? Other than that, that's all I got. Like this is a setting for in the Reaper 6 and up themes. But for older themes, I don't know. Are you saying that the hit target is I don't know what you're saying. I mean, I don't use other DAWs, so I don't really know like how that feels. If there's a difference. I don't know. Like with snapping on. That's really loud. I don't know. Some things just have too big vertical size of the decibel meter height. Oh, meter height. So the height of the mixer is partly based on like the dock height. You can also drag here to adjust the height. So it might have been saved like this. You can do, I think it's Alt drag. No. Command drag. Control on Windows. That will set the height for all tracks. And so whatever size you set, the next track will be like that. I think. Maybe not. No, I'm wrong. You gotta kind of set it for like the global one. So that's the only like meter height adjustment you can make. Oh, the actual numbers on the meters, that can, I believe that can be set in appearance track meters. Meter minimum value, mine's -70 and max of 3. So yeah, I don't know what the defaults are, like -100 or something like that, but you can scale that down. Is there a way to make scrolling like a web browser scroll in MIDI editor? Yeah, so you can customize scrolling for all of Reaper in the action list. So things that you assign the mouse wheel are in the action list. So if I go find shortcut, mouse wheel, I've got mine scroll vertically. But if I go into the MIDI editor, it has its own controls. So just make sure that you adjust them the same. So if you customize your main window but didn't do your other one. I swear this is getting louder. Yeah, just remember to also adjust the other window. So mine looks like this, where I'm pushing up on the mouse wheel and it's scrolling up and down for down. Shift mouse wheel goes left and right. And I've got that the same as my arrange view. But you do have to customize that yourself. There isn't like a global setting for that. All right, so we're gonna wrap up here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Yeah, that's it for today. I will probably do a video about Battalion today, tomorrow, something like that. Something will be done about that on the blog. And yeah, any other Reaper topics that I come up with that I want to talk about. There was a short video this week. I've been sick, so that was kind of like the first thing I was able to put out recently. So, you know, if anyone works with automation, hopefully that was helpful for you. But kind of a weird low effort video. All right. Yeah. Thanks for being here. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.